dry skin, so gorgeous. We thank the life gorgeous. Thank the life gorgeous. I love the life gorgeous. Its torso is so tight.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Life Gorgeous. Mr. Kilborn, Lord Kilby, Thanksgiving edition, the roundtable, my two buddies. Thanksgiving week. Sometimes my buddies from 20-some years ago, the writers, we giggle. We call them the writers. Some like to be called producers. Goldy and the Sulk, Alec Sulkin and Julius Sharpe. Apologies for the giggling because Alec Sulkin makes me giggle. Goldy, you accept my beautiful, peaceful exhale. Why can't he?
I don't know. I think within him, there's just something that it wants to bring everything down to his level. It wants to grab it and pull it to the bottom of the ocean and then watch it die. Whereas I would like to lightly touch it and float on the surface and look at it in the sun.
Alec, you have called the exhale one of the funniest things in the last 20 years, but why the giggling? I mean, why?
Because now we've established this thing where it does make me giggle, and the fact that I giggle makes you giggle, and then we just get the church giggles or the temple giggles.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may notice that I have a professional mic, as does Goldy. Alec is on his laptop mic. He has a mic, but it's not hooked up because that would be too difficult. But he was able to pull the blinds behind him. So we are so proud of Alec Sulkin today. So we have this Thanksgiving edition. However, I get a little giddy sometimes when I write questions for the Life Gorgeous quiz. And I'm going to pull one of those questions out of the Life Gorgeous quiz, which is at the end, and do it now to see your reaction. Listen to the entire question, please, and then both of you can answer. The New England Patriots are who we thought they were. Kind of a sucky franchise. They had a blip there with Spygate and a couple Super Bowls, but they are, technical term, sucky. Are you guys ready to choose a new team, and who would it be?
Goldy already has.
I'm ready to choose a new team. I call Mac Jones. There was a horrible quarterback in the 90s for the Patriots named Hugh Millen, and I call Mac Jones the Hugh Millennial. He's just the 20 years later. He's the shitty same version. So I want one of the LA teams to step up and earn it from me,
right?
And no one's really done that.
Well, also, and I love the Hugh Millen reference, and I would call Mac Jones's tenure humiliating, if you want to go that far. But you don't.
I mean, I'll turn my back on any sports franchise in the blink of an eye. I have no loyalty. I don't care.
I'm still on board with the Pats. I mean, they are terrible, but honestly, it makes me feel young because it when we had shitty Patriots teams, excuse my language, YouTube, I was in my 20s, so I feel like that again.
I mean, we haven't had the foresight to get a franchise QB like Josh Dobbs.
Oh my gosh. The Vikes are always good. They currently have the longest winning streak in the NFL. If only Bud Grant had participated in Spygate, we would have a number of Super Bowls. These are my jokes, guys. This is the stuff I do. And you guys take it well. I appreciate it. By the way, Belichick, the word is he's going to be leaving. Is it time for him to leave?
No. Yes. He should just stay like a real New Englander would just stay well past their welcome or ability had ended and just spend an additional 9 years as kind of a barnacle on the franchise. That's what he should do, I think.
Yeah.
And never change. Have more sons, adopt more sons, hire them to double, triple down. That's DraftKings sponsor, quadruple down.
Did you see the video of Belichick doing the walk of shame?
I didn't click on it, but I heard about it. Yeah, is it good?
It was great. I mean, it looked like he was stepping out of a home that was, soon going to be, the door was lightly going to be knocked on by a reporter from Spotlight. That's how ridiculous the place was. And also Belichick was topless. and a generous natural sea.
Oh, that's funny. I'll have to click on that. I'll have to. Sometimes you're not ready in the morning with the coffee to click on that.
I call it a gentleman's bee.
All right, back to the Thanksgiving. What does Thanksgiving mean to you, Goldy? We'll start with you. What does it mean to you? I know you're married with children. And
yeah, Thanksgiving to me is a time for family, and specifically for me to take my family to someone else's house and let them do all the work as my family runs amok and ruins it for their family.
And is there someone who invites you over where you have that option?
No one's ever invited us a second time, but I'm pretty good at getting that first invite. So we're going to an old friend's this year. I anticipate they don't know how poorly it will go. And by the time this airs, I'll have been already disinvited for next year.
This is actually going to air the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Ooh, maybe they'll disinvite you if they see this.
Yeah, but for me, it's all about not the drumstick, but grabbing that piece of thigh meat, that dark thigh meat, getting a little stuffing, getting a little cranberry sauce, and then sort of making it all so there's one last perfect bite of mix.
I was going to get into the best stuff. The best stuff is, in fact, the stuffing, the dressing, with a little cranberry sauce for tartness. I mean, when I was an 8-year-old, that I was, it was before I enjoyed red wine with a meal, but it was that tartness. Alec, you're a young person. What does Thanksgiving mean? What does Thanksgiving mean to you?
Well, I'll throw out a few names. Thanksgiving to me means Rod Roddy, Martin Mull, Anna Kournikova, and one Lord Kilby, because we had the most fun Thanksgiving roundtables on the Late Late Show, and you can watch those on YouTube, as I have. Very fun, incredibly disorganized, and incredibly well directed by Mac.
Okay. So I just remember we had video of Anna Kournikova. We had that from pre-production, and her people asked us to stop using it.
I know, because she was just saying nothing and nodding, right?
From Russia with love, Miso Kournikova. Wait a second. Okay, so here's my Thanksgiving question. I like cooking. Ladies and gentlemen, I have never in my life cooked a Thanksgiving meal, ever. And more specifically, I have never cooked a Thanksgiving turkey. I am predicting that of the three of us, only one guy has, and that's Goldy. Alec Sulkin, have you ever cooked a Thanksgiving turkey?
Never.
I didn't think so.
Never.
Goldy?
Yeah, I've smoked it. And the first time I smoked one, I had incredible beginner's luck. It went really well. And then the next 3 or 4 years, I tried it again, and it just was terrible. I couldn't recapture the magic.
It's a lot of work, correct?
Yeah, it's a lot of time, and turkey, if it goes bad, it goes really bad,
Does it ever get dry? It's always dry. I mean, you
can luck out. You got to brine it. I mean, it's days. You really have to,
Yeah, it's too much work.
Yeah.
And so I don't
salts and everything.
I hope to never cook a Thanksgiving turkey. I don't think I ever will. No one will force me to. Do you put the stuffing in there or not when you do the smoking?
I put a little bit in there, but I don't. I mean, in general, I find it sort of distasteful to reach inside a turkey's butthole and pull something out to serve. That's just me. I prefer to put some herbs in there, perhaps, little spices, and infuse things rather than just go like, here's some bread, everyone, and then have my hand up to past my watch in there as I take it out to serve my beloved family.
Quickly, when we were kids, Thanksgiving, we served the same dishes, and some of the side dishes were a little odd. Did you have any odd side dishes? And I want to know if this is uniform for other people or if it was just our family. But did you have side dishes that you thought were odd at Thanksgiving?
I always urge people to go with the most traditional things and just kind of nail them. Like, the odd stuff. I now have Thanksgiving with my in-laws, and they're Israeli. So the Thanksgiving dinner takes on sort of like a Mediterranean vibe, which I personally do not like. Like, I want to go back to the mashed potatoes and the mac and cheese and things like that. And we get a lot of, things with kind of Mediterranean herbs and spices and prepared in that way. So a lot of pounding chest and soft burps.
Goldy, any weird side dishes?
I can't think of one. I mean, probably the most exotic thing I saw growing up was a yellow bean.
Okay, now we're getting closer. So here's what we had. We had turkey and dressing, yams, mashed potatoes, and then here were the two weird ones. Well, I think this is common though, but maybe there's a green bean casserole with cream of mushroom soup and French fried onions from a can sprinkled on top. You ever have that?
That's delicious.
Okay.
It sounds great, but I'm not from the Midwest.
Okay.
So I've not even seen it.
Okay, and here's the other one that is a little interesting. It's a lemon jello with marshmallows on top and mayonnaise and I think shredded carrots or something.
That whoever made that should be tried at The Hague.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, I think it was from the South and it somehow trickled up to Minnesota. I don't know what it was.
If I saw that, I would throw it into the ocean.
From Minnesota.
There was also something I never liked with I love pumpkin pie, but there was something called mincemeat pie. You ever heard of it? Mincemeat?
Yes. I've heard of it, but
That's it?
It's awful. Awful.
Okay, you ready for this? Since I've never cooked a Thanksgiving turkey, a couple other things I've never done, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of this. I want to see if you guys have ever done this. Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Craig Kilborn. I've never changed a baby's diaper, and I never will. Sulk, have you ever done that?
I have. I'm sure less than Goldy, but I sure have. Yes.
Is it nightmarish?
Well, I mean, there can be times when it's nightmarish, and there are other times when it's just fine. It's Goldie's had some experience with this.
When you're having lunch at Chipotle and you have to go inside the men's room and do a diaper change, is that when it's nightmarish?
Yes, the airport emergency diaper change is where it gets dicey.
Yeah, the location can sort of make it worse where it happens. But on the whole, I feel like it's one of those things that is much easier than you think it would be. It's not nearly as bad as you're making it out to be. And in fact, your lack of doing it even once has probably built it up to something that it is.
I think because I was at a fine restaurant and I walked into the men's room and a guy was doing it and it just completely ruined my evening.
You should never bring a baby to a fine. I mean,
I know. I wanted to have that conversation, but
they
passed on that.
They don't know they're at a fine restaurant. That's dumb.
But I still go back to jar. Other things I've never done before, quickly. Tell me if you guys have ever done this. I've never filleted a fish.
Oh, I didn't know where that was going. Yeah, I've never done that.
Goldy?
No, I've not done that.
I've never gone hang gliding. What, yeah. Alec, what's that mean? Of course not?
No, of course not.
Yeah. Okay.
Of course not. John Denver, rest in peace. Forget it.
I've never bungee jumped.
No.
Nope. No.
I've never gone surfing except body surfing in Cancun, but not surfing on a board.
Goldie.
I do that all the time.
Yeah. Are you good at it?
No, I'm not good, but that's one of the things I like about it is I have no hope of ever being very good. So there's zero pressure, which makes it fun. You know how like if you shoot free throws and then you miss one, I mean, your day is kind of ruined.
Is it dangerous to surf or do you ever get hurt or no?
I'm pretty careful about where and when I do it. So no, but
Right.
It could be if you just paddle out and you don't know anything. Yeah.
Alec, have you ever even walked into the ocean on the West Coast?
On the West Coast? No, I have not.
I didn't think so.
No, I have never walked into the West Coast ocean.
When was the last time you went in the ocean up past your waist?
Probably in the 80s. I don't know.
And up past your waist, you're a tall man. You got to walk pretty far out into the surf.
When I go up to Carmel, this is something I like to do ever since I was a kid because we grew up with a lot of lakes in Minnesota. I would skim rocks, and I was very good, and I could get it to go 8 or 10 times, and that was very enjoyable. But these are the simple pleasures in life that you guys probably don't really participate in.
Did you ever do a polar bear swim?
You mean a polar plunge? You jump into no, I don't. A lot of people do that in Minnesota. It's supposed to be good for you. I always think it's not good when you get a heart attack and pass away. I always think it's not a good thing. I can take a cold shower, but for about 10 seconds, but there's no reason to do that. Here's another one I've never done. This is the only one that kind of bothers me. I was in the city, but I didn't do it. I was only 23. I've never been inside the Louvre in Paris. Have you, anybody?
I have a funny story about this, actually. So I went to France with my family, was a little bit excited to see the Louvre. We get there and my kids were not being great. So we went on the Ferris wheel outside the Louvre and we went into the mall next to the Louvre, but not the Louvre.
That's good.
Yeah.
I wanted you to say you changed diapers in the Louvre, but that's
I may have. I mean, and there's nothing like a diaper full of chicken cordon bleu, French cream sauces. That's a good one.
So when I was there, I was with a hoop team. We were traveling Geneva and Stuttgart and all this stuff. And remember that song, The Roof, The Roof, The Roof is on Fire.
Yeah.
We don't give a damn, let the MF burn.
Mm-hmm.
Years later, I did it at ESPN where I said, Raouf for Mahmoud Abdul Raouf. I'd show the highlights. Raouf is on fire. We don't give a damn, let the LA Clippers burn, as he scored 40 with his quick release. But I was a little obnoxious. I was on the metro in Paris with the ball players, and I said, assuming that the people didn't speak English, the Louvre is on fire. We don't give a damn, let the Mona Lisa burn. That was being obnoxious. I want to apologize to those people. I was just having fun with words there.
Well, they don't take stuff seriously. They get humor.
All right. The elephant in the room. Draymond Green plays dirty, 5-game suspension. As a sports fan, when these guys do this stuff, some people said, oh, he didn't want to play because Steph was out. He does a lot of silly things. He's very loud and obnoxious. Opinion on Draymond Green, opinion on dirty play, go.
I like Draymond Green, and I thought, people were speculating that he was going to get a 10-game suspension. I think he got 5 games because of who he choked. It was Rudy Gobert, a.k.a. Patient Zero, the guy who spread COVID to America. And I think we haven't forgotten that. And also, by the way, none of Gobert's teammates were really rushing to protect him.
They don't want to get suspended. What team has the number one defense currently in the NBA?
Celtics.
The Minnesota Timberwolves.
The Clippers.
When James Harden is on the floor, the Clippers have the number one defense now.
So I liked the timing of what Draymond did, because this is something that I've always thought is say you knew your plane was going to crash, and I know you hate flying, so this will break through. I said it's going to happen, 100% chance. Would you rather it crashed on takeoff or landing? And for me, it's like just kill me right away. I don't want to crash. I don't want to take a whole flight and then die. And my last thing is I experienced. So I like what Draymond Green did, because he's like, you know what? I know I'm going to choke this guy at some point.
Right.
I'm just going to do it right now.
I've always, whenever I don't fly often, but I always think what you just think. If it's going to happen, let it happen now. No.
Yeah.
As we're taking off.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, how bad would it be? It's like you go to like Japan, it's 14 hours, and it's like, oh, sorry, it crashed.
Sadly, you ever get in those silly conversations? This was with a young person.
We're in one now.
The young person was like, I said, yeah, I don't like flying. I go, why don't you like flying? And they give you the stats that, you have more of a chance of dying walking across the street. And I said, well, I just, I want to pass away sleeping, watching Turner Classic Movies when I'm 85 or whatever. I just want to die peacefully. I don't want to, you don't feel anything. It happens so fast. When you crash in an airplane, you don't feel anything. It just, okay. So have you ever gotten in a asinine conversation with a young person, a 25-year-old?
Well, I mean, yeah. I can't recall one about airline travel particularly, but yes, I feel like our wisdom, makes a lot of those conversations seem asinine, because there's a cocksuredness of youth that doesn't quite jibe with reality.
I have a slightly different experience. A bald head is repellent to young people, so I don't encounter many at all.
Right.
I can't really recall the last time I was talking to someone who was under 60.
Have you guys, I'm going back to the hothead. So I viewed Draymond as a hothead, and I have different theories on some of these guys. Because it makes me laugh when people talk macho and all that kind of stuff. I know sports is a little different, but as Barkley said, everyone acts tough, on a court because the refs there. They're not going to get in. It's not like being in a bar fight or even fighting one-on-one in somewhere where there's nobody to break it up. But have you guys dealt with hotheads? I don't think in the comedy, in the writer's room, there are no hotheads. Well, let me just say this. Have you ever been in an experience where you observed a bar fight or were in a bar fight? Let's just keep it there before we go to the writer's room. Never, right?
Observed and walked away.
Right. Bingo. Yeah. Yes. Goldy?
Yeah. I mean, in college, I was famous for somehow if there was a fight that materialized, I would instantly be 4 miles away.
Yep.
No, that's smart.
People would be like, "Did you teleport out of there?" And I'd be, I just sensed something was going to happen. Because the Navy SEALs say that the best way to win a fight is to avoid a fight.
Well, I never understood what constitutes winning a fight. I don't want to win a fight. I don't want to participate, so I get away.
By the way, it's when you punch someone and they don't get up. That's when you've won.
I won one fight. I was I think 10 or 11 years old, and this kid wanted to fight me, and he kind of swung at me. And it just kind of like went off my shoulder, and I punched him really hard in the stomach, and he crumpled to the ground, cried, rode his bike away. And then his dad, who was a cop, came to our house and said to my dad, your son assaulted my son. And, my dad said, like, get the fuck out of here. So I felt like a cop telling my dad that I had beat up his son felt like winning.
Was this seventh grade? You were seventh grade, third grader, or was it same age, or what was it?
This was same age. His name was Eric Johnson, Craig. And if he's out there, he knows what happened.
No, I always wondered with the hotheads if they when they participate, do they have a skill like jujitsu, which I admire, or is it just pure rage where they're just hauling off on somebody? But
here's the thing: if you look at someone and they have cauliflower ear, then you just defer to anything they say.
Oh, there's so much to be thankful for: family, friends, food, and NFL football all week long. DraftKings Sportsbook is keeping your Thanksgiving week full of action. New customers can bet just $5 on the NFL action to score 150 instantly in bonus bets. No matter your appetite, there's something for you. Money lines, parlays, props, live bets, and so much more. You name it, they've got it. Big games this week. On Thanksgiving, the Lions are favored by 3.5 home to the Packers. Thanksgiving night, Deebo Samuels and the Niners are favored by 3.5 on the road at Seattle. And Monday night, my Minnesota Vikings host the Bears. The Vikes favored by 3.5. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code KILLBORN. New customers can bet $5 on the NFL Thanksgiving action to score 150 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, with code KILLBORN. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369. In West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. Please play responsibly. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, must be 21 or older in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. I got to tell you a story. Did I ever tell you this? I was having dinner with Steve Nash at Ago. Remember Ago on Melrose? And so Nashy and I are in the back, and this guy comes. We're in the back, which is a patio area and it's important because not everyone saw what happened, but I have my back to it, and Nashy sees somebody, this guy, and he's with a blonde, I was going to say bimbo. We can't say that anymore, but a silicone blonde, Now, I don't know if we can say this, but Nash, goes, "Hey, look, it's Che Guevara." Okay. He says that. And the guy sits down and he's really upset, and he's talking noise to Nash. And then I just say, "Do you need any help here?" And then he comes after me, starts talking, and he pounds our table and walks out. And with his girl, and finally, the waiter comes by. He goes, "Something happened here?" I go, "Yeah, it was weird." And then as we're leaving, I'm making this short, but they actually have a bodyguard or a guy there at the front at Ago, and he says, "Listen, he's across the street in the car. Just want you to know we kicked him off our property. He has a gun, and so do I." Wow. So we had to get in the car and drive kind of by that. But that's a weird story I don't always tell. And I just remember I was telling somebody at work, actually Ross Abrash, and he said, "Crazy, don't mess with crazy. Don't mess with crazy."
I mean, how long did you and Steve Nash haggle over that check?
This is when he was on the Mavs, and we sent it straight to Don Nelson. We just said,
yeah.
But anyways, is that a weird story?
Very weird. Why was he mad?
Oh, I guess he thought we were making fun of him. I mean, I'm sure he was on drugs. I mean, most of these guys are messed up. They're on drugs. And
I'm trying to picture where the New York Post goes with Craig Kilborn and Steve Nash gunned down at all.
He probably was a reality producer, and was longing to produce a late night show. I mean, that's how I view it. Oh, here's another fun one. Do you guys ever get in, because you're on Twitter, X, and you guys are very popular. Have you ever gotten in a Twitter fight or an X fight?
Sure. That's way easier. You don't have to get punched in the face.
And what constitutes winning?
It's usually like say something snappy and then block the other person. And then it's like, well, I'll never have to hear from them again. I remember I got in a Twitter argument with someone a few years ago it was like the Christmas holiday. I was traveling with my wife, and I don't even remember what we were fighting about. And then it was like one of those fights where it was going back and forth, and you're checking every 5 minutes to see what they wrote. And somehow it turned into him saying that his grandfather had painted the cover of Jethro Tull's Aqualung, famous picture of the old guy hunched over. And that made peace. I said, "Oh, you know what? Actually, that's really cool." And like we came to this like understanding. Like the fight disappeared, and then it became about this cool thing that we both liked.
Alec also got into sort of a famous Twitter war with Robbie Robertson.
Oh, that wasn't a war. That wasn't a war. I just got destroyed.
What happened? I missed this. What year was this?
This was, I want to say 2014, maybe.
Is this based on a Family Guy joke or something?
No. I used to tweet these things about like the feeling of listening to certain bands, and so I tweeted something about the band, and I don't even remember specifically what I tweeted, but
something
it was
about the band was like listening to something in a wicker basket, or
it was like listening to something while falling down the step. I don't remember exactly what it was. But somehow Robbie Robertson saw that I had tweeted something mildly negative about the band, and he tweeted back, "Oh, I wish I should have worked on the Cleveland show instead." Like that was it. And everybody was like freaking out. And of course I wanted to like write back, like, I didn't work on the Cleveland show, but it was too good of a reply. So yes, the late Robbie Robertson is 1-0 against me for sure in Twitter fights. I mean, he was a Canadian who stole Southern culture from his other bandmates and cashed in on it. But rest in peace. Rest in peace.
No, because I went to a Clipper game with Alec, and I saw a different side of you where you're yelling at the refs like this was your time to vent. I didn't know
Goldie's way better at that. Goldie and I,
it's amazing how he used to capture the vibe. Before he even had a kid, he had the vibe of abusive dad at a game.
Goldie, you're joking at a game when you're doing that. He's serious. He's like really angry.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, I don't care what happens in the game because it's like they're all millionaires. They'll be fine, right?
Goldie single-handedly won a Clippers game against the Thunder. It was back.
Right, you're right. You told me there was the Scotty Brooks, right?
Yeah, his suit was too big, and I let him know loudly throughout the game several times.
He lost the locker room, Scotty Brooks, because of Goldie.
He stopped standing up.
Yeah, he stopped standing up. So, and also, Goldie, do you remember you were also making fun of Thabit?
Hashim Thabit gave me the finger because I don't know. I was talking to him or something. I mean, he was terrible. But then he gave me the finger and he had a big thing of Gatorade he was drinking. And that's the last thing I said to him. I go, Gatorade's just sugar, you big dummy. No wonder you suck. It's like you just drank 50 grams of sugar, you idiot. Have some water.
He was so inside their heads. And this was the era when the Clippers were the Lob City Clippers. Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, JJ Redick. And the Thunder were great too. It was Durant and Westbrook. And it was I think Harden. And the games between those two teams were always close and really intense. And Goldie, I think, swung that game.
The guy who dresses up like a cowboy but in all silver got really angry at me. I hate that idiot.
Jimmy something. Yeah.
Yeah, he sucks.
It's funny because I didn't know if I should tell that Nashy story. I don't know. You guys think the Nashy story is okay? Or is it too dark or what? Is it too weird? But I have this other one. I just want to protect my old friends and stuff. But we had at Montana State, we had, on the team, there was a guy he was a big man and his hair always seemed a little oily, even though he washed his hair. You know how you have different, people, you might make fun of people. There was a guy named Charlie Sitton, Sitton, who played at like Oregon State, and he had back acne. And when he went on the road in the Pac-10, they would throw bottles of Oxy 10 or Oxy 5 on the court. They were like cold-blooded stuff. So we had this teammate who his hair was just kind of oily. Dark hair, oily, stringy. And we go on the road and he was on the bench and the crowd started saying, put grease ball in. And we were, we didn't want to make fun of our teammate, but we were.
Did you see when Madison Square Garden, it was a Atlanta Hawks Knicks playoff game and they started chanting Trey is balding? I thought that was pretty devastating.
I mean, some of that stuff is hilarious. Oh my God. It's another young person thing because I'm out of touch and you guys have to deal with people because you work at, by the way, the people listening, these guys write and produce Family Guy. Alec is the executive producer, head writer. Goldie is one of the gifted writers who actually did write on the Cleveland show, I believe.
He did.
That's what paid for his surfboard. He's living off his Cleveland money. He doesn't touch his late show money.
I mean, ask me anything about Cleveland right now. Now's your opportunity.
So with the young people, do you ever use the W word with them and talk about WOKE, or did that never come up?
I mean, it does in a joking way in the writer's room. I think that we respect it appropriately and mock it appropriately.
That's the way to say it. There was a headline in Deadline Hollywood a few months ago, and it said Brian Cox is blaming woke he's criticizing woke. And the writer of the articles gave the definition of woke, caring about social issues. Like, how could you disagree with that? Like being a nice guy or something. He gave the definition. And I just wanted someone to say, no, it's not about that. It's about going overboard and being excessively self-righteous. This will all be in the book, The Life Gorgeous, and you guys will proofread it. You'll proofread it.
Signed copy for Goldie's little free library.
I'd give a blurb if that wasn't just a death sentence for a book.
Goldie wrote a very funny book called Bald, A Way of Life. No, so you're going bald. Let me try to remember the title. Don't tell me. So you're going bald. Was that it?
Yeah. So have you ever seen a clip of people lining up for a field goal and then someone a defensive lineman miraculously jumps the line and blocks the field goal. That's basically what happened to my book.
It never got off the ground. It didn't take off.
It was just a complete block and then run back for a touchdown. And I was the kicker, and I tried to tackle someone who weighed 270 pounds. That was my book experience.
If you, when you've passed away, and if the book became popular then in a cultish kind of way, would that feel good? I guess you wouldn't feel it, would you?
I don't know. I mean, do they let you feel stuff in hell?
So I'm going to play a little game here before we get to the Life Gorgeous quiz. So Alec, I had for my birthday week, which is whenever there, holidays or birthdays, I like to have the old fellas on. They make me giggle. And I did a game with Gibby, because Gibby doesn't follow sports too much. So I was naming some old ball players, and he had to say baseball, NFL, or NBA as I named these ball players. So I have that now that we're going to do, and I just want the audience to know that both Goldy and Alec know sports pretty well. Alec, I thought, knew it more, but then he saw Kyle Anderson slow-mo play in person and didn't appreciate his Cedric Maxwell-type game. So that was very disappointing.
Getting paid the same as Ant.
So I'm going to name a player, and you both jump in. We can call it a competition. Some of the names I just like saying, like Hawthorne Wingo.
I've never heard of that.
Really? Do you like that name?
Yeah, that's a great name.
Yeah, it feels like an ABA player.
Oh, where you're close. He played for the Knicks in the 70s. Now, the problem is, America, I might look the same age, but I'm a little older than these guys. So I followed the NBA extensively in the 1970s when disco was king.
I would never insult you by saying you looked the same age as us.
I know.
Hawthorne Wingo, one of the great names of all time.
Oh, yeah, New York Knicks, 70s.
Henry Finkel.
Hank Finkel. Yeah, he was a Celtic.
Correct. Good job.
I got his autograph once at the MDC rink in Newton.
That's what the guy on the Montana State looked like, by the way. The big man with the grease ball. That's what he looked like. Bobby Bell.
That sounds like baseball, but I don't know.
It sounds like football to me, but
it is football. Kansas City Chiefs. He was a defensive player for the Kansas City Chiefs. If I remember correctly, number 78 was on the Hank Stram Super Bowl team. Ed Podolak.
Oh, that name I know. That's a football player.
Correct. He was on the Chiefs as well. Ed Podolak. Yeah. There are a lot of good players on that team.
Are you going to just name old Chiefs?
Well, I memorized the program when they won. Otis Taylor, Willie Lanier, Buck Buchanan, Lenny Dawson, Mike Garrett, Jan Stenerud. I just knew the whole team. Okay. Yeah. George Mitterwald. You should not know this guy. George Mitterwald. What sport do you think it is? You got a 30% chance. 33%.
I'm going to guess baseball.
Bingo. Minnesota Twins. George Mitterwald. Why did you say baseball? It just sounds like a baseball player?
Yeah. Well, in my mind, I was thinking George was maybe Jorge, and he was Dominican in some capacity, and that he was a baseball player, therefore.
I also should say that with these players, there's also one 60s, 70s sex kitten, and you'll have to see if you can name that person if you can identify that person. Okay, next the name is David Kopay. David Kopay. Ever heard of him?
Never.
No.
Any guess?
Sounds like a college basketball player who played very briefly in the NBA.
Interestingly, he played football, Redskins, and after he retired, he was the first athlete to come out as a homosexual, a gay man, and he was working years later in the 80s in Santa Monica, like at the Sears store. But he was a football player, David Kopay.
Is that the sex kitten or?
No.
Okay.
Steve Largent.
Oh, yeah, football. Come on.
Okay.
Senator Steve.
Joey Heatherton.
Oh, that's the sex kitten.
Correct. Do you know her?
I know that name. I feel like she was on like a Love Boat or something.
Oh, I'm sure she was.
Yeah.
I mean, what color hair?
Blonde as the day is long.
Yeah, she had short, cute blonde hair. Yeah, Joey Heatherton. Made Giselle look like a boy. I'm just kidding.
I'm just looking at a picture of Joey Heatherton today. Honestly, she's obtainable for a guy like me.
Bo Ellis.
Bo Ellis sounds like a basketball player.
I'm going to guess baseball.
Bo Ellis played for the Marquette Warriors with Al McGuire in the 70s, and he also designed their uniforms at one point. They had cool uniforms. Bo Ellis. Some other cool names from that team, Earl Tatum. By the way, just to tell you guys something, because I know that we're all busy and I don't get to see all of you. Oh, a typical disgusting display, your fine podcast that you guys do. I don't get to see every episode. You don't see every episode of Kilby's podcast. My brother and I we had nicknames. We did this as kids. We'd go to the park and we'd practice being introduced and running out like Walt Clyde Frazier. I was Sweetwater Gilmore, nicknamed Golden Boy Buttercup. That's kind of fun, right? Yeah. So we've always been into names. My brother was Satchel Holland.
That's nice.
So that's why some of these names are fun. Here's another fun name. Luther Rackley. That's a real guy. What sport? Luther Rackley.
Basketball.
The New York Knicks in the 70s. Anthony Barr.
That's football. He's a Viking.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played for the Vikings, then he went to the Cowboys. Now he's back this week because we lost a linebacker. So he's going to try to help out.
Oh, is he current or is he a coach?
He's current. He's still playing. He's 31 years old, and he just came back. He was sitting out this year. The Vikes just grabbed him emergency because we lost Jordan Hicks. So we're just gonna keep playing. We got a tough one at Denver. Russell Wilson. It's a tough one.
Have you seen your coach's tits though?
Our coach played for your coach. You know, he was drafted by the Patriots. Here's a name. Don Busey.
I'm guessing baseball.
I'm going to say basketball.
Why are you going to say basketball, Alec?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay. He actually played in the ABA. He was a white guy who led the league in steals. Then he played for the Phoenix Suns, and he was very clean cut. Didn't look like a basketball player at all. Looked like a banker. But Don Busey. Now we finish up with, this is kind of fun. This is before your time. And, it's kind of weird because it was such a vivid memory when I discovered the NBA and the New York Knicks, the champions of the 69 and then 71-72, that great team. And I remember on the Late Late Show, I had John McEnroe, who's a Knicks fan, and I thought everyone knew this, and I had, the starting five in their alma maters. And he actually didn't get all of them, and I was a little surprised, so maybe it was too hard of a question. I'm just going to give you, from the champion Knicks, I'm going to give you the nickname, tell me the player. I think you'll get 3, you might get 4 out of 5. You ready? First one's the toughest. The Dream.
Is that Dave DeBusschere?
No. You might not know this guy, bench player.
Now we have a 25% chance of being right by guessing Dave DeBusschere.
Dean the Dream Meminger. Never heard of him, right?
Never.
Okay. The Pearl.
Oh, Earl Monroe.
Bingo. Action Jackson.
Oh, Phil.
There you go.
Yeah, fabulous Phil.
Clyde.
Earl. Clyde.
I just had a friend. I had a friend in high school he liked baseball. He'd go, Gary Maddox, Easy Glide. He loved to say that. He loved to say the nicknames. Okay, one more. Scholar Bill.
Bill Bradley.
Bill Bradley.
Too easy.
Yeah. That's a great nickname, though. I'd never heard that.
I know. I don't know if I made it up last night or if it's real, because it's Dollar Bill, and then I just said Scholar Bill because he was an Oxford. He was a Rhodes Scholar. Went to Oxford. Went to Princeton. Goldy, did you get into Princeton or not?
I didn't apply. You know why? Because I'm not living in fucking New Jersey.
So you had to go to Columbia instead?
That's right.
Okay. Alec, do I know where you went to college? I can never remember.
I went to Montana State. No, I went to Connecticut College, formerly Connecticut College for Women.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there something you'd like to tell us?
There were a lot of women.
And ladies and gentlemen, we finish up. I've been waiting for this, the Life Gorgeous quiz. This is Simple Questions, Profound Insights. I like to say it's a Thanksgiving edition, but we don't really have any Thanksgiving questions here, I don't think. What song have I rediscovered that I really like? Is it a song by Metallica, ABBA, or Sniffin' the Tears?
I didn't even need to hear anything after ABBA.
I would go ABBA too. It's not Metallica.
Why do you say that? You're correct. Well, because right?
You're not a Metallica guy.
Let's see if you've ever heard this song. And this is, have you ever heard of the group Sniffing the Tears?
Yeah, it's a good song.
It's called Driver's Seat. Unbelievable. Yeah. No, okay, I have a couple questions. These are the ones that I find entertaining, and I don't know if I'm very proud of Goldy for being sober, but privately, do I think his sobriety is a little extreme?
Yes.
Yes.
No, I don't. We don't joke about this. I privately, I think it's very admirable. Congratulations. Okay, Alec, did you like that question?
Yeah, I did.
I'm beginning to see why that guy waited outside the restaurant.
Yeah, he's still in his car.
Oh my God. Okay. I gotta focus on this next one. I don't know if you'll like this construction or not. I used to do this construction where I'd say, I'll give you $1 if, and then I'd say something. But anyways, I'm going to start with Alec, and then I'm going to go right to Goldy here. You ready? Alec, if you were a girl, who would you rather kiss, Zach Wilson or Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers. I don't kiss losers.
Oh my God. I didn't know if this question was too silly. Alec, Goldy, do you have an answer? If you were a girl, who would you rather kiss, Zach Wilson or Aaron Rodgers?
Zach Wilson all night.
Why?
Aaron Rodgers he sucks. I mean, you run out on 9/11 holding an American flag, and then 5 minutes later you're being carted off. You suck. You're a bigger loser than Zach Wilson at that moment. I mean, that was the most disgraceful sports moment in sports history. Maybe let's remember everyone from 9/11. Oh, take me away in a bed.
Does it bother you that Tom Brady says Aaron Rodgers is more talented than he is? Is that what it is?
Does Tom Brady say that?
Yeah, he says that.
Of course he says that because it's not true. So, but you get credit for saying it.
Brady's a humble guy.
I think I said this before on your podcast that Aaron Rodgers, when they always say like, oh, he has to work with the receivers. He can't use a new receiver. These young guys, it's like they're all running the same 5 fucking patterns. Like the fact that it's always like, well, he needs Randall Cobb to run that pattern. Mm-hmm. It's like they all have hands. They all run the same fucking pattern. What's his problem?
Sounds like you're not an Aaron Rodgers fan. I didn't know this.
No, I am not.
Who do you dislike more, Aaron Rodgers or Peyton Manning?
Oh, Aaron Rodgers.
Wow.
I would say during the height of his career, I disliked Peyton Manning much more because I viewed him as more of a threat.
Yeah, because they played each other all the time.
Peyton is great as a personality. He's very funny. I like the Manning cast. I find him entertaining.
Well, my research says that you don't know this, but Seth MacFarlane offered the part that Tom Brady got in the Ted movie to Peyton Manning first. Rank them in order: Newman, Redford, McQueen.
McQueen's last.
I'm not going to because you just ranked them in order.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think Goldie's right. I mean, if you're going handsome alert, I put Redford first, slightly over Newman. But I think if you're going acting, I go Newman, Redford, McQueen.
Newman from Seinfeld, right?
Paul Newman is definitely number one. Do you guys have a favorite Paul Newman movie? I do.
The Verdict.
Oh, The Verdict. I can't believe Charlotte Rampling did that. James Mason. I'll tell you what, we don't even bring it up. We don't even mention it. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, the black thing.
Yeah. I'll tell you how we handle that. We don't say a word.
We don't mention it. We don't bring it up.
I love The Verdict. So I have Newman easily number one. I also I saw a movie for the first time that I recommend called HUD, which is very good. Old black and white. Yeah. He's very good. So I don't know. Some people really like Steve McQueen. He has a presence, and Redford's in one of my favorite movies from the 70s, 3 Days of the Condor.
Best movie hair maybe ever is Redford in 3 Days of the Condor.
I'll never forgive McQueen for what he did to Robert Evans.
Are you in there with the blob? Yeah. So I might have them as a tie, Redford and McQueen, but maybe not. I was just wondering. And finally, I love Omaha Steaks. They're going to be sponsoring the show in December. How often do you guys have steaks? Because I try to space it out for my health. I don't eat too much red meat. I eat a lot of salmon, but I do love a good steak. How often do you have steaks?
If left to my own devices, I'll have it once a week. When I stay here in LA and order food, I order often from Angelini.
Oh, that's on Beverly or 3rd? Beverly.
And they have a great steak. So when I order from them, I'll order it and I enjoy it thoroughly.
Okay.
Say I make myself a filet and some mushrooms and onions maybe once every 2 weeks.
Wow. And I have a follow-up. Favorite steak, which type? Because, some people like ribeye, some people like filet mignon, some like bone-in. How do you cook it? Medium, rare, medium. And what sauce do you choose, if in fact you choose a sauce? Go ahead. Someone start us off. Goldy, start us off.
So filet mignon, I sear it with a skillet 3 minutes aside and then bake it in the oven at 450 till it's medium rare.
But how do you know that when it's medium rare? You go by 6 minutes, or how do you do that?
I know.
Okay, wow.
I know. And then I will I like, you're not going to agree with this. I like A1 sauce.
I love A1.
It's the taste of my childhood.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever heard of peppercorn sauce?
Of course. Delish. I also go filet, petite filet, and I go medium rare, or on the rare side of medium rare. I like it rare. And I love A1 as well, but I also like, if you do like sauteed mushrooms.
Yeah.
The best.
I think it's Steak Diane. They got a little mushroom sauce there. It's really good. Yeah. I haven't had a ribeye I used to order ribeye because I don't order steaks that much, but I got the filet mignon for Omaha Steaks. I go sear it 2 minutes. I go 400 degrees at about 7 or 8 minutes because I like it medium. Ooh. Don't tell anybody. I used to do medium rare when I was a novice, but now I do medium. Much healthier. And then I like peppercorn. I like béarnaise. I like the idea of béarnaise, but once you have peppercorn, and I like the mushrooms. I like bone-in if I can get a nice bone-in ribeye. Oh, my God. Unbelievable. All right, fellas. I really appreciate Thanksgiving week. Have a great time working today. The Timberwolves are playing well. I know we didn't get around to talking about the Timberwolves. Rudy Gobert is a good person. He handled it very well. He put his arms up. He let Draymond choke him. He didn't.
If they win the in-season tournament, I'm going to the parade with you.
Once we figure out the details of the in-season tournament, we'll all celebrate. Thank you, guys. Proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, those are Alec Sulkin and his microphone and Goldy. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you next time, young people. And remember, I'm proud of you.